The push for whole grains as a superior dietary choice has been relentless, with health authorities in the US and UK recommending that people replace refined grains with their fiber-rich counterparts. Whole grains are often promoted as essential for heart health, cholesterol control, weight management, and even blood sugar regulation. But amid this widespread endorsement, the real question remains: are whole grains truly healthier, or is this just another case of oversimplified nutrition advice that ignores the complexities of diet and health? While whole grains do contain more fiber, vitamins, and minerals than their refined counterparts, the assumption that they are universally better is misleading. The health benefits attributed to whole grains often depend on broader dietary patterns rather than the grains themselves. People who consume more whole grains tend to follow healthier lifestyles overall. They are often more active, eat a greater variety of nutrient-dense foods, and have better access to quality health care. Meanwhile, refined grains, which have been stripped of fiber and certain nutrients, are frequently associated with processed foods high in sugar, sodium, and unhealthy fats. However, blaming refined grains alone for poor health outcomes ignores the larger issue: a diet high in ultra-processed foods and low in overall nutritional quality. Another factor often overlooked is digestibility. While whole grains may be packed with nutrients, they also contain compounds such as phytic acid, which can inhibit the absorption of essential minerals like iron, zinc, and calcium. Some people struggle with bloating, digestive discomfort, or even worsen gut health when consuming high amounts of whole grains, particularly if they are not accustomed to high-fiber diets. Meanwhile, refined grains, being easier to digest, have been dietary staples in many cultures for centuries without widespread health issues. Japan, for example, has one of the highest life expectancies in the world despite white rice being a central part of the diet. The financial aspect of whole grains is another concern that is often ignored in nutrition debates. Whole grain products tend to be significantly more expensive than their refined counterparts, making them less accessible to lower-income populations. While a loaf of premium whole grain bread might cost $8, a standard white bread alternative is often less than half that price. Promoting whole grains as a necessity without acknowledging economic disparities only deepens the divide between those who can afford healthy choices and those who cannot. In many cases, people might be better off focusing on increasing their intake of fruits and vegetables, another source of fiber, rather than feeling pressured to replace every grain with a whole grain version. The demonization of refined grains also fuels an unhealthy diet culture that labels certain foods as bad, contributing to anxiety around eating and even disordered eating behaviors. The reality is that no single food determines health, and rigid dietary rules often do more harm than good. In cultures where refined grains are common, balanced meals, moderate portion sizes, and active lifestyles contribute to overall well-being more than the type of grain consumed. Yet in Western nutrition discourse, whole grains have been elevated to a near-moral status, creating an unnecessary hierarchy that leads to food shaming and elitism. Even with the benefits that whole grains provide, it's dangerous to oversell their impact. Good health is determined by far more than just whole grain consumption. Factors such as stress, sleep, income stability, and access to nutritious foods as a whole play a much larger role in long-term well-being. The belief that simply swapping white rice for brown or choosing whole wheat bread over white bread will lead to significantly better health outcomes is misleading. Worse, it can create an illusion of health while ignoring more significant lifestyle and dietary issues. Instead of viewing whole grains as an absolute necessity, a more balanced approach would focus on variety, personal tolerance, and overall dietary quality. Rigid dietary guidelines that push whole grains as inherently superior fail to acknowledge the broader reality. Health is about more than a single food choice. By fixating on whole grains while ignoring the bigger picture, we risk losing sight of what truly matters: sustainable, enjoyable eating patterns that promote long-term well-being without unnecessary restrictions or guilt.